Dr. Vasudevan has a broad range of research interests, but primarily she is a director of a program called the Systems Medicine program at Georgetown University Medical Center. And we're excited to have her here because I think that she brings a unique insight into the role of information technologies in medicine. She deals with a broad cohort of international students. So any one of you that is really interested can benefit from understanding why she started this program. What does she teach her students? How is it done? How potentially you might want to register for a program like that? And where do students that finish that program go after they complete the training? I also want to introduce briefly a couple of speakers that will be picking up from the topic that Dr. Vasudevan will be sharing on. The next speaker after that will be Alice Kamens. She's a strategic projects and program manager at Google Cloud, and she will speak about some of the strategic initiatives that they are undertaking at Google to make various training resources to be available to those who are interested to incorporate cloud into their skill sets. Then we will hear from Dr. Adelaide Rhodes. She's a principal computational biologist at a company called Cultivarium. And she will speak about bioinformatics as a career option. So many of us are interested in research, but there's also the industry path. And so she will address that from her own personal experience. We will then go on to hear from several accomplished speakers from South America. And those will include Dr. Georgios Papas from Brazil, Dr. Gabriel Gatti, who is originally also from Brazil, but now works at Camp4 Therapeutics in the US, Mr. Silver Ceballos, who is in Costa Rica, Mr. Piero Gasco, who is in Peru. And we will tie all of these topics together in a group discussion where we have Dr. Raja, Gio Chavez, and Ms. Maria Victoria Luz, who will speak about some of these opportunities both in the US and in South America. So, Sona, I will unmute you now. Sorry about that. Okay, I believe you should be able to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Okay. You can all hear me, correct?
Yeah, we can.
Is the volume good? Okay, good. Thank you, Ilya. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. And thank you all the participants who are here. I think the previous sessions have been amazing. And I think most of the introduction and the foundations for my talk has been laid out pretty well, which is that everyone here probably will agree that bioinformatics is extremely important. And there's so much data, and there are lots and lots of challenges that all of us are facing. And what I'm going to be talking to you with in the next 20 minutes or so is to tell you the biggest challenge right now, in addition to all the data and processing of the data and everything else, we need to train the next generation. And in fact, we have to train ourselves on how to handle this big data and how are we going to mine meaningful information from all of this data and create meaningful resources for the next generation of students from different disciplines. And of course, Spine Biotechnology is leading in that effort, providing different resources and courses and everything else. So I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, I hope you can see my screen.
Yeah, I think you need to switch the screens. We can see.
Okay.
Presenter.
Okay, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, slideshow. Is that better?
Your screen is not shown right now.
Oh, it's not shown. Okay, sorry.
Yep, now it's great.
Yeah, that's okay. Thank you. Complications with so many different monitors here. Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you about systems medicine, a new and evolving emerging discipline that we created at Georgetown. More importantly, I'm going to focus on how, why, and whom should we teach systems medicine to. So first, I'm sure all of you are wondering, what is systems medicine? Because it's not become a lingo that's commonly used by a lot of people, and it's getting popular right now. So systems medicine, to give a formal definition of it, it's a novel approach to medicine. It is the first step on the path to personalized medicine. And I'm sure living through the pandemic, all of us realized that each of us have different symptoms, different reactions to vaccines and therapeutics, and wondering why even within a whole similar household, we have different reactions to all of these different things. So systems medicine is based on computer models in which vast amounts of clinical data is used to analyze the health of individual patients. It also brings a humongous promise to further our understanding of diseases, mechanisms, and also boost the efficacy of treatments. And of course, at the end of the day, all of us want to cut costs of healthcare. And so it is actually one aspect of what we call precision medicine, practicing medicine precisely that reaches individual care. So practical definitions of systems medicine that all of us are very familiar with is it's a multidisciplinary field that looks at an individual as a whole. And it uses systems biology and computational sciences and the omics technologies to help solve biomedical problems. And of course, it is not necessarily the future, but it's also the current practice that all of us have realized that the summary of it is one size does not fit all. So I actually call this one size does not fit all medicine. So what does this mean? It means that, say, two patients who have similar symptoms, have similar findings or diagnosis, and the same disease, and given the same drug. But both these patients react differently to these drugs. So of course, we all wonder why two patients with the same symptoms and same underlying everything conditions react differently to drugs. And of course, we all kind of know with all the data what the reasons behind this could be. So why does drug response vary among different populations of people, right? It's individual variation. Of course, it's all at the underlying genomic levels, genetic differences, single nucleotide polymorphisms that exist between two individuals, or single nucleotide variants that we call these single nucleotide changes. Of course, it also could be ethnicity, age, genetic factors, drug-drug interactions, and environment plays a big role. Of course, we are all now focusing our attention also to nutrition. And of course, also the focus has been on a microbiome. I'm sure everyone in this audience knows the importance of microbiome and the fascinating concepts and realization we have come to today that we have more genes from these microorganisms that exist in each part of our body than our own genes as well. So they are actually taking more control over all of this. So there are different factors that are actually responsible for individual variation that exists. So why are we talking about all of this right now? And the reason, of course, we're all talking about all of this is, of course, we are in the midst of an era of big biological data. And I just put the pandemic in parentheses with the hope that we are going to say goodbye to it, hopefully soon. And so I don't want to feel like we're still living in the middle of this. But of course, the pandemic has also caused a lot of realization for us, and also generated a huge amount of data for us to mine to understand these individual variations, specifically with respect to the disease COVID-19. And a revolution in medical practice in the 21st century. And of course, we can't forget where it all started. It all started with the Human Genome Project almost 17 to 18 years ago. And of course, at that point, all of us celebrated that we are going to say goodbye to diseases. And we also thought that we all understand every single diseases, because we understood how many genes the Human Genome Project generated, how many genes is there within all of us. So understanding all of those genes, we thought that we could say goodbye to diseases. But as you all may realize, after 18 years, we still realize that that's not the case. And now we know that lots of factors that are important in understanding all of these things, which I outlined in my previous slide. And so there's lots of data to understand specifically how how can we go from genotype to phenotype, understanding all of that. We have different layers of omics and lots of data generated at every step of this ladder of omics, and also microbiomics. And also I just checked Wikipedia, and I think we have more than 200 or 300 different omic terms now. And this is something that I would do with my students. I walk around the class and ask every single student to come up with an omic term, and we have 4 or 5 times more omics now. So which means each one of those omics is generating a huge amount of data. And now we all have to figure out how to mine these data and how to generate the next generation of bioinformatician who can actually understand all of this, and to come up with a simplistic view of understanding how we can go from genotype to phenotype. So genomics, of course, is being used to integrate pathways, mutated genes, and drug-drug interactions for various different diseases. And genomics is also is a tool, a diagnostic tool now to understand molecular mechanisms of diseases. And all of these different omics terms has become a standard way of looking at everything in whatever discipline that you are working with. Of course, in the clinics, for physicians, they need to they need to understand all of this data in order to be able to meaningfully treat their patients. And so the idea of precision needs to be there, and the idea of personalization needs to be there for the practice of medicine. So we also have realized systems medicine is already in clinics today. Big data used to learn about general population, to make clinical decisions in this and reproductive health, reproductive endocrinology, prospective parents, genetic testing before and during pregnancies, tumor profiling using genetics to tailor cancer treatments, by tracking mutations and traits of cancers in various tissues, and pharmacogenomics, of course, accessing an individual's perspective reaction to a drug based on their specific genetic makeup. Of course, this is actually already in use in the field of cancer, and we have come a long way. In fact, there are specific drugs that have been approved by the FDA to treat specific mutations that people may harbor in specific cancer types, for example, colon cancer, breast cancer, and all of those different things. So we have actually come a long way. And there is a revolution in medical practice. So now, instead of focusing more on curing diseases, we want to actually prevent diseases from happening, and also health promotion. So there is enough data out there. But the problem is, how do we mine this data? So we have to generate the next generation of scientists and biomedical informaticians who can actually understand this data. So this explosion of data has made us realize that we need educational programs to learn this new language. I call this a new language that all of us in any discipline needs to learn. And of course, it's an investment, and that probably pays the best interest as far as I'm concerned. So Georgetown became one of the leaders to create the first program in systems medicine, gave birth to a program, a dual degree program, MDMS, in systems medicine. It was successfully launched almost a decade ago in 2011. And the students are required to take 30 credits. Of course, it's a very rigorous curriculum. And it is specifically intended for students in medical school who have completed 2 years of their medical training. They take a year off, and then they get a master's degree in systems medicine, and they have a dual degree so that they understand the computational sciences, genomics, proteomics, and all of these omic terms, so that they can actually make an intelligent prognosis for their patients that they're going to see. So they will be a new type of physician who actually embrace the concept of all of these different omics. And of course, more importantly, systems approach to medicine, which is what we all have to learn. And of course, we also wanted to create a master's program, not necessarily for students in medical school, because this is applicable to any discipline in the sciences, in any discipline that people want to go to. So we created another master's program in 2016. And the program, again, the curriculum was intended for any student who is interested from any discipline of sciences, who's interested in pursuing a medical career, becoming a physician, or by becoming a biomedical scientist, who one with a grasp of modern computational sciences and omic technologies, so that they actually become the bridge to translate all of these discoveries from omic data analysis from bench to bedside. And of course, again, a systems approach to medicine and in biomedical research. So the curriculum of this program was not very trivial to create one that embodies different aspects that the students need to be trained in. And so it has different aspects. Biostatistics is important when you are actually talking about one single nucleotide polymorphism in a patient. We have to make sure that it is statistically significant before we actually come up with treatment modalities. And then biomedical informatics, this is specifically how do you mine electronic health records, electronic patient records, and all of those things to understand a pattern in a given population, maybe ethnic populations. And of course, at the end of the day, students need to learn journal articles and figure out how to interpret journal articles and understand use of clinical data. And of course, microbiota, as I said, microbiome is actually very important, and genomic medicine. And how do you translate all of these discoveries from bench to bedside, which means translational? And then, of course, metabolomics is actually integral to systems medicine, because at the end of the day, anything that happens in the body in terms of cells and what they do is through a pathway. And the end of the day, the result of a pathway and reactions is metabolites. So it's very important to understand what these metabolites are doing and how do you mine these. Of course, the program has core courses that students need to learn, that they're trained in fundamental aspects, but also each student may choose to go into a different career path. There are students who want to become physicians. There are students who want to do a PhD. There are students who just want to do work in healthcare. There are students who just want to mine data and learn data analysis. So the electives are geared towards specific students' interests. As I said, systems medicine means precision medicine and personalized medicine. So all the curriculum is also personalized to each of these students. So if a student wants to do drug design, they can take a structural biology course that teaches them how to do drug design. Of course, if you want to get into policy, then they can take policy courses. And if they want to get into a lab, you can do lab courses. So All these electives are geared to a specific interest of these students. And if a student is interested in cancer, for example, they can take cancer. So all of this is tailored as the systems medicine program itself is personalized in terms of what it delivers. And the students can take other courses, epidemiology, microbiology, and emerging infection nutrition. And so the whole curriculum is tailored towards what the goals, career goals of each individual student is. Apart from the courses, one of the most important aspects of the curriculum is that every single student has a capstone or a practicum. They do a semester-long research that for most cases culminates in a publication. And they, of course, they present a poster and they're judged by judges in the field. And so this really drives the students' interest to carry what they learn in classes, in lectures, to actually applying it to a real scientific problem. So this really sums up the whole experience that each of these students actually has. The students work in a variety of different institutions, and we are very collaborative in nature, so they can work in national NIH, which is down the road from us, FDA, which is also down the road from us. Of course, students can also partner with other institutions. So students, these are all the institutions that students have actually done their internships in. Memorial Sloan Kettering in New York, and also students actually do internships in industry as well, in companies. Of course, to summarize the skill sets that the students learns from all of these is to actually analyze big data. They learn different aspects of next generation sequence analysis, RNA sequence analysis, single cell RNA sequence analysis, Journal Club. Thanks to Pine Biotechnology, they have offered an outstanding course to the curriculum on machine learning. And of course, students also know how to learn different aspects in the lab. And of course, microbiome. This is actually a summary of all of the things that the students learn. And there is actually something for everyone in terms of career. Student can go to medical school, nursing schools, PA or DO schools. They can pursue PhDs. They've got, some of the students have gone to industry, and of course they can work in doctors' offices. And of course, the MDMS students actually go and pursue and become physicians. And so there is something for everyone from the curriculum. And so where are the graduates now? So our graduates are in all different institutions across the US, pioneer institutions like Cornell, Sloan Kettering, and all of those things, University of Maryland, and all of those things. And then, of course, every student will ask, do we have scholarships to support? Of course, we do have. So we have an endowment called the Robert Stephen Ledley Endowment. We were given $100,000 for the program, and that generates some scholarships. And also we have other scholarships, all merit-based scholarships that can help you with your tuition, because Georgetown is expensive. Of course, it's not all about curriculum. The students also have lots of fun. We celebrate different festivals, and there's lots of conferences students attend. And at the end of the day, you can see smiling faces. So there's a rich curriculum, but also there's also socializing aspects to the program. We take field trips to NIH. Here, this is a field trip to look at the sequencing facilities. And then, of course, I want to summarize why Georgetown. The top 5 reasons to attend Georgetown: location. It's very, very pretty and beautiful here. And of course, traditions connect students from all campuses, past, present, and the future. And then we also have rich athletic history, as you all know, Hoya, Saxa. And then, of course, we also have famous and influential people who have loved us in the past. And of course, you can be satisfied with minor things. Everyone should aim as big as possibly can, from Watson. That's his advice to all of us. And of course, our faculty and staff are incomparable. We have amazing faculty and who are always there. And of course, the program is first in the nation. right now. And of course, you're all welcome to come right now to visit, because the cherry blossoms are in full blossom right now, and it is very beautiful here. If you want to learn more about the program, you can go to this website, systemsmedicine.georgetown.edu, or you can actually also email us at systemsmedicine@georgetown.edu. So I thank you all for your attention, and I'm very happy to take any questions you may have.
Thank you so much for your talk, Dr. Vasudevan. We have a few questions for you.
Okay.
So we want to know who all are eligible to join the program there.
Okay, that's a fantastic question. Anyone who has an undergraduate degree in the sciences or even computer science majors are eligible for this program. And because every single course starts from basics, so you won't be lost in any of the programs. So we have actually had even one history major who has actually been in the program from our MDMS curriculum. So anyone with a basic interest in the sciences and has a little bit of background in sciences is eligible for the program.
Great, thank you. Another question we have was, so thinking back to when you were first learning and first introduced to the field of bioinformatics, what advice would you give yourself just starting out?
To figure, I mean, can you repeat that question? Let me get it.
Yeah, so if you're looking back, if you could go back in time and ask, give yourself advice when you were first starting out in bioinformatics, what would you tell yourself?
Okay, so I actually want to, currently today, when I started bioinformatics, it was an accident. After I finished my PhD in a lab, doing drug design and X-ray crystallography, I'm a physicist by training, had no idea what even bioinformatics meant. I was accidentally put in a lab in NCBI, National Center for Biotechnology Information. So at that point in time, I did not realize the importance of bioinformatics. So when I turned my life back, I think that was the best accident that happened to me in my life. What I would have done is at that point in time, I would have gone and done a PhD in bioinformatics at that point in time. So I now am glad that that accident happened in my life because I can't imagine what I would have done without the training that I've actually had as I'm standing today, looking at the evolution in the field.
Great, thank you so much. Another question we have is, have you considered including some basic math courses in the program?
Yeah, so actually that is a very good question. And we actually do have, so the biostatistics course actually does cover a little bit of mathematical concepts in it. And in fact, all of the analysis that we do, all has to have a little bit of math. So we don't have specific math geared. I'm not sure what specific aspects that you're asking about. But most of the courses actually embrace mathematical concepts. So we do teach a little bit of mathematical concept across different courses, but not full-fledged math courses because of the student population that we actually have.
Great, thank you so much. I think that is all the questions that we have for you right now. So yeah, again, great talk. We will now begin with our next.
Yeah, before that, can I just answer one question that is in the chat? There's one question, can a PhD guy do this program? Yes, absolutely.
Yes, great.
Yes, definitely, the answer is yes. Thank you again.
Great.
Thank you all for your attention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vasudevan.